Hello and welcome. We're going to get ready to talk about supply for economics class today. You are now on the supply information page. Supply is different than demand. Supply is actually the inverse relationship or the opposite of demand. The law of supply will actually be a parallel law. So as you can tell, as the price goes up, so does the quantity. This is one of the hardest laws for students to understand. Why is that, you might ask? Well, because our brains are usually mostly just centered around buying things, which is demand. Supply is actually the business side. So just think of it this way: as the price goes up, suppliers are more willing to produce items because they see more opportunity to make money. The opposite is also true. So as the price goes down, suppliers don't want to supply as much. So that means that suppliers will not make as much money. So therefore, they're willing not to make as much. So if you look down here, we actually have the same. We have a supply increase, which will move to the right, and we have a supply decrease, which will move to the left. There are several different things that will change or shift your supply. So the first one would be number of sellers, technology advancements, government actions, opportunity cost, so your idea of producing another product, or your future expectations or profits. So the more number of sellers that are out there, the more supply there is. The less number of sellers, the less supply. So that's going to shift your curve either to the right or to the left. Remember, left is decrease and right is increase. We're talking about a change in quantity only, not a change in price. So there's also the truth about elastic versus inelastic of supply items. So items that are elastic are items that have a giant change. So with just $1 change, you're going to have a massive change in quantity. So think about bubblegum or candy or something along those lines. So you're more willing to produce more items if you can sell that piece of candy for $2 versus $1. Items that are inelastic are items that basically the quantity does not change as much with a giant increase or a giant decrease in price. Think about gasoline. People still drive around on gasoline, even though there will be those people that if gasoline jumped up $1 and they will not buy the product, but a majority of us will rather drive our car than to actually go out and wait or walk or bike or whatever that might be. All right, so this is just an introduction to supply. We'll talk about in our next video the combination of supply and demand, also known as prices.